Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm Kelly Levine, the Closet Coach. I help professional organizers, designers, cabinet makers, and extremely talented DIYers design custom closets just like the professionals. And I've got a question from a viewer that we're going to answer today. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. This one was from Nikki, and she had a question about putting together her dressing room. And she went into quite a bit of detail. I actually would have had probably I would have definitely had more questions for her, like what ceiling height she had, what the height and depth of these systems were. But she said they were all pre-made freestanding cabinets. So I'm going to assume that they were 14 inches deep. If they were 24 inches deep, this would potentially be a totally different project, but we'll talk a little bit more about that as we go through it. So you can see she gave me quite a bit of information. It was a 9.5 by 11.5 foot room. She told me where the door was and so how much, and then how much the door opened, so how much I had left to work with. She didn't tell me things like if there were outlets or, vents, or if there were any, where the light switches were, things like that. So I'm not going to take that into consideration in this. If this is truly a closet, there may or may not be any of that stuff. But if these are pre-made cabinets, we're just going to place them. She was having trouble figuring out where to put all this stuff in the room to make it lay out right. So let's take a look at what we had. So again, I've got her information. So I drew out the closet here. And, here, and I don't know for sure if the door was on this side or this side, but doesn't really matter because she could mirror this. So, she said she had an 8.5 foot wall here, which is 102 inches. She had 114, which is 9.5 feet, the 138 inch wall. And then she told me that she had 6 feet left on the wall with a door. That's how I read what she had. Then I went through and I looked at what she told me she was hanging up. So she basically gave me her inventory, which was great, but it was already inside these pre-built cabinets. So this is what I had to go with, because I'm assuming from her email that she wanted to use these cabinets and not totally get rid of them and start over with something else. So that's what I did. So then from there, I went and I created some schematics of these, these cabinets that she had. So one of them, two of them were 62 inches wide and they were double hanging. 3 of them were for, she told me, mid dresses. So I did set them up that way. Those were 50 inches wide. And then she had 6 of these cabinets for purses and shoes. Now, I don't know if this is how many shelves she had. I just kind of drew that for display. If it was shoe shelves, you definitely could use more shelves. If it was purses, she might not need that many shelves, it'd be less. But it gives you a general idea of how to lay out the room. I also didn't know if they had a base. I assumed they were 84 inches tall, and they probably have a backing if they're pre-made. Like I said, I went with 14 inches deep. These may be deeper, and I will show you the issues that will come in if that's the case. But here's another thing. Hold on a second. I gotta make sure that I'm recording here. Let's stop the share for a second. Yes, we are recording. Okay. All right. Sorry, it doesn't show me that I was recording when I had this, and I was like, oh my gosh, we don't want to do that. Okay, so let's talk about these units. So these are the fixed number of units. The other thing that's fixed is how much wall space she has. In other words, this is fixed here, 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 and here is the only wall space that we have to put these units on. So I went ahead and I measured, all 4 of those walls, and I came up with 426 inches. But the other thing that's going to happen, you know, remember back when we talk about, you know, how clothes hang out, that clothes hang out 24 inches, 22 inches. So you know, so if we've got units on this wall, we can't use them again on this wall. So for every corner, you're basically going to lose, excuse me, about 24 inches. I actually typically subtract about 27, but just to keep it easy and to try to get as much in here as we could, I subtracted 24, and that left us with a usable amount of wall space of 354 inches. Then I went and I added up, you know, 2 times 62, 3 times 50, and 6 times 18, and I came up with 382 inches. So I can tell you right off the bat that these don't fit. Sorry, that should have been a minus. Whoops, minus. We're minus 28 inches. 382 minus 354. So basically what that means is that I can only fit in 4 of these. In this closet. So, you know, if you were looking at just this number right here, you might think, oh, all of that can fit in there, no problem. But remember, these clothes hang out. And in your corners, you're definitely going to have clothes hanging. So you can't count the 426 inches. You've got to subtract, you know, your 3 times 24, which is, you know, 72 inches, and that leaves you with the 354. So I hope that makes sense. Really, you know, closet design is a lot of math. And it's kind of like a math and puzzle put together. So, all right, so let's grab some of these pieces and let's go and let's start putting together. Actually, I'm not going to be able to grab all those. I'm going to grab these 2 first. And let's go to our floor plan and start putting this stuff in. I'm just going to set those there for now. So I know when I lay out a closet, I've talked to you guys many times before, when you're walking in the door, you want to get in. So I can tell you right off the bat that I'm going to put the hanging clothes in the back as much as I possibly can. So if I'm looking at a 114-inch wall, I can't fit 2 of those 62-inch wide sections back there. So I'm going to put one of them back there. Oops. I'm going to put one of them on this back wall, and I'm just going to kind of put these in there a little bit away from the wall so we can kind of see this. And then the other one is not going to fit there. So I know I'm going to have to put that one on another wall. And if I want to keep my hanging together, I'm going to put that one over here. So I'm going to put it 24 inches from the wall, since that's what we said that we were going to do in this case, to try to get as much stuff in there as we could. All right, so we've placed now our 2 double hanging. And originally when I did this, I had the double hanging over here and the dresses over here, but I put them so that this way everything would be together. All right. And so then we're going to look at these 3. We've got 3 of these long hanging sections or mid hanging sections. And so let's put those over here and let's start placing those. So I know that I can fit one on this back wall. That's going to give me, 62 and 50 is going to be 112. So hopefully she gave me some accurate measurements here, and there would be a little bit of room here to place that unit there. And then it looks like I've got enough room here for another one. So I'm going to go ahead and do some math. I've got 138. subtracting 24, subtracting 62, and I've got 52 inches. So that one will fit really nicely over here. But we've still got one more of these. Okay, so I'm going to go grab a couple other things over here. I'm going to grab that one again. And then my other pieces that she gave me. Okay, oops, sorry, I grabbed it the face in the right way. Sorry, I was trying to save some time and draw some of this stuff out in advance, so it wouldn't take so long waiting for all those pauses. But all right, so these are the pieces that we're going to be placing. So I already know that, you know, I want to keep things on this wall shallow. So that's definitely not going to be my dresses there. So let's take a couple of these. Oops. Sometimes when you're working with little things, it moves. Okay, so, and then I'm going to come over 24. And then I've got some space, so I'm going to put another one right next to it. I'm guessing that somewhere on this wall there is a light switch, so it's probably good that we've got some space there. And what I would do is, if there is a light switch here, I'd move these as close toward the light switch as I could to leave a little bit more space here for her dresses and shelves and things. Okay, and so now we've still got this other 50-inch piece that we want to do. And I'm going to put that somewhere on this wall, but it gets a little bit, you know, I definitely don't want it here because then you're going to be walking into folded clothes. If I push it back here, that's fine, but there's shelves here. So I thought I'm going to kind of put that in between those two shelves units. Oops. And let's gotta just stay away from that little guy. Oh. So I'm going to put that one as close to the door as I can, and then I'm going to scooch this down because this wall is, you know, going to get a little bit tight. So I'm scooching that down as far as I can. And then I'm doing another 18-inch right here. And again, I want to scooch that down as far as I can. And I'm only going to get probably about 21 inches left there. You can see this is not quite 24 inches here. But if that's dresses and this is shelves right here, if, you know, this is shelves and this is shelves with the hanging below, then this might be okay. She's going to want to scrunch that down as tight as she can, get those units as tight as she can toward that door so that there's as much room for the dresses to hang here as possible. Dresses don't generally hang out quite as far as other things anyway, so I think that'll be okay there. But you know, guys, this is really all, you know, this is what you can fit in here. Like I said, I knew from the math that I was only going to be able to fit in 4 of these 18 inches. And, you know, if you think, oh, if you would have done it different, it would have turned out different. I'll just show you. I did try it different just to see what would happen. I tried putting, you know, the 2 50-inch pieces here, one of them here, and then the 2 62 here. That way I could only fit in 3 of the 18-inch pieces. So I think I've got this laid out, plus then this would be icky here. So I'm pretty sure I've got this laid out, the best possible scenario. But again, it may come down to what her priorities are. So if I was working with her as a client, my question would have been, do you really need all these dresses, or would you rather have more of your shoes and purses? Most people would opt to go with more of their hanging clothes. So that's what I did for this layout. But, so let's take a look at what this would look like. Since I've already got these laid out, let's just grab these. And so we've got a 62-inch piece here. And a 62-inch section here. Because we've got the other part coming here. And remember, that's going to be the side view of this piece here. Okay, so we've got our 2 double hangings, and then we're going to go to our dresses. We've got one of those here. We've got one here. And we've got one kind of sort of right there. I think I got that placed pretty well. All right, so we've got those 3 placed, and now we're going to place our cabinets. So you can see kind of, the dilemma that you run into when you're working with pre-made stuff, is that you don't have as much control over how you lay this out. Remember, we're leaving 24 inches there. And we're going to have 2 there. All right, so because here we've got hanging here. And this is going to be dresses, so those would be down here, and there would actually be, shelves up above. And then on this side, we also have those another dress section, and so that's going to be down here. So you can see, what I'm saying, since your shelves aren't going to have clothes hanging out from them, then when you get into this corner, even though this might be a little bit tighter, it shouldn't be too bad, as you'll be able to get in there a little bit more. And then this is where I was saying, I'm guessing that there's a light switch there. But even if there isn't, you still don't have room for another 18-inch section there. So that's what our elevations look like. This is really just, that when the door is wide open, it's going to take up this space on the wall. This is, the door. And then we've got our sidewall over here. This is B. This is A. All right, so if these were 24 inches deep, then you really have a totally different thing going on, and you won't be able to fit nearly as much in here, because then you're going to have, sections that are this deep. And if you put them, like this, you might fit, I would still probably lay it out the same way, but this corner right here is going to be kind of a disaster. You may have to then even, lose one more of those 18-inch pieces. I don't think that they would all fit. All right, so hope that helped, Nikki. I hope that helped you figure out how to lay out that room. And I hope it showed some of you guys like what you have to deal with and how you need to do the math if you're working with pre-made pieces and cabinets. Okay. Would love to hear back from you, Nikki. Let me know how it went. For everybody else, if you need help designing a closet, for now, you can leave comments like Nikki did. Some of them I will do if it's too elaborate. I don't have time to go back and forth with questions, but I'm happy to help in whatever way that I can with stuff like this to give you guys an idea of what to do. Otherwise, there's a link below if you want a closet designed. If you are a designer or want to be a closet designer, there's also a link below for that. And there's also a link below for the inventory. So in this case, you could see she did the right thing, gave me her inventory, but we had pre-made cabinets. So you can download that if you'd like that. All right, that's what I've got for you today. Hope you all have a great day. Take care, and thanks for being here. Bye-bye.